let's talk a little bit about the audit assurance tools and techniques. Now, the ISACA develops standards that give you the examples of possible processes that you might want to follow. And the tools and techniques document are providing what we might call procedures, information on how to meet those standards during the audit. But because they're procedures, they don't set requirements. Now, these can be procedures about how you might go about doing an audit on databases, on firewalls, and so many different things. But that's all they are just methods to help you, or procedures that you might follow to help you get to that point to hit those standards that we are supposed to follow. Now, there is a relationship between the standards, guidelines, and tools and techniques. Notice how we took procedures out and call them tools and techniques. And it's important to remember that the standards that ISACA puts out are designed to be followed by the auditor. The guidelines were merely ways of providing help to find ways to implement the standards, right? It was giving you a path that you might follow. And the tools and techniques, which is certainly not at all exhaustive, gives guidance for you as far as examples of some of the steps you might go through or follow to be able to do a specific type of an audit. So again, if you wanted to audit a firewall as one of the controls, and maybe you just really, what should I do? Should I run some sort of script? Should I look at access control lists or the security policies that they're being used? I mean, all of these are maybe a bit of a nightmare to people coming into audit the first time. And they're like, where do I start? Well, that's where the guidelines can help you on the path where you want to go. And the procedures, the tools and techniques can be examples for you to say, oh, okay, I see it. Look at these examples of things I can do. So maybe the tool and technique they give you an example of isn't appropriate, but you'll find something that is. And that's all it's designed, is to help you in this process of getting to those standards that we do have to follow. Now, the ITAF, which is the Information Technology Assurance Framework, is meant as a comprehensive good practice model. So what it does is it provides guidance on the design, conduct, and reporting of your IT audit. It can help you in defining the terms and concepts that are specific to IT assurance, and it establishes standards for the IT audit and assurance professional role and responsibilities. When we take a look at the ITAF, it is focused on the foundation of the ISACA material, as well as content from the IT Governance Institute. Now, when we take a look at what IATF gives you, it's going to talk about some general standards, performance standards, reporting standards, guidelines, tools and techniques. So again, right, it's standards, the things that we are trying to achieve or should achieve, guidelines on how to get there, and the tools and techniques. Now, under the standards, I did say that it had general standards, and those are the guiding principles under which the IT assurance profession operates. All right, so that kind of sounds like those code of ethics that we had with ISACA. Performance standards, these are going to deal with the conduct of the assignment, such as planning and supervision, risk and materiality. And that's, really the basis of what we're doing with the audit. And the end result is the reports. The reporting standards describe the types of reports and other communications. Now, your guidelines are designed to provide the IT audit professional with information about the audit or the assurance areas. And again, like we talked about with the ISACA, the guidelines are there to help provide that path of that road. And the tools and techniques are there to provide information about the different types of methodologies or the tools and the templates that you might use. And there are a lot of tools and techniques out there in this world that you can use, some that are free and open, others that are, of course, from companies that are charging for the use of those tools. Lots of them out there that you might be able to use. In fact, just off the top of my head, as I think about these different types of tools and techniques, if I'm auditing maybe a Microsoft Windows platform, well, right away, Microsoft makes a free tool called the Microsoft Baseline Security Analyzer. And its job is to analyze a system based on Microsoft best practices and tell you about the report, about where it's at. Right, so that's a tool that you might be able to use in getting to whatever it is that you're auditing. Obviously, at least for a Microsoft system in that example. So all of these are, again, not designed to be exhaustive, but to give you examples and help you on the way down through the audit to get to those standards. So let's take a little more look at the general standards for ITAF. That's section 2200. Now, giving you the section number so you can do more research if you want to get more information about any of these. The general standards are the guiding principles that the IT assurance profession operates in. And those standards include things like independence and objectivity. Now, suddenly you're thinking, wait a minute, you just got through talking about those. And I did, but we were under the heading of the ISACA standards. And remember that ITAF, I said, utilized those standards as its platform in developing its standards. So that means that general standards would include, as I said, the independence and objectivity for all the same reasons we did before. That it's important the auditors are independent of those areas in which they're auditing, and that they remain objective about what they're doing, no bias going in there. Reasonable expectations of what we expect from the auditor through their work. That management acknowledges what's happening, that they understand that the audits are going on and that they provide assistance as they need. About the auditor maintaining their training and proficiency in the work that they do, in the areas that they audit, that they have sufficient knowledge of the subject matter, that they provide due care, and that they have the suitable criteria needed to be able to make those types of audits that they're doing. Other parts of the general guidelines deal with objectivity. It's important that we've mentioned it twice now, right? Measurability, understandability, completeness, and relevance. Okay, so where are we going with those? Well, of course, objectivity makes sense to us, again, about doing our job effectively with no bias. That it can be measured in some method that we are able to look at. I think, we talked a little bit about the materiality before, but, can I measure the objectives? Can I measure the work that they're doing? Is it understandable work that they're doing? Did they do it all the way through? Or do they just kind of go halfway and say, yeah, that's good enough? Looks, what's the old saying? And for those of you in government work, this is just a stupid saying, I know. But they always say, oh, good enough for government work, right? No, all right? They're never good enough for any type of work. Completeness needs to be there as part of the standards. Relevance as well. Especially when you start hearing me go off on stories. Sometimes you're going to be judging me on my relevance of what I'm trying to accomplish in relaying this information to you. But yes, relevance as to the test we did, the audits we did, are relevant to the area and to the control that we were evaluating. Right? All of these are kind of important guidelines.